level professional basketball game on the same day of the fight. His last fight, he conducted a live news conference in the ring just half hour or so before he went into the ring to fight. What new form of entertainment will Roy bring to boxing tonight?
Jim, he's wired for sound. Yes, apparently a microchip-sized microphone has been sewn into Roy Jones' trunks so that we can not only see those jazz-like riffs that his fists fly through the air with, but we can hear them as well. And as well, he has gone back to writing the rap lyrics for his walk-in number. The rap lyrics will be hard to understand. I understand that they say something to the effect that his opponent, Mike McCallum, is indeed a professor of the sweet science, but that he, Roy Jones, will give the professor a few lessons tonight. The subtext to all this is that Roy Jones really believes that the Mike McCallum of 10 or 15 years ago would give this Roy Jones a real test, but not the Mike McCallum who will be 40 years old in 2 weeks. Indeed, McCallum of Jamaican extraction, more in our generation than Roy's, himself a reggae man, will have no better chance to understand the rap lyrics for Roy's background music than perhaps we will. But that's okay. He's got plenty of his own lyrics to bring into the ring. George, you and some other heavyweights have proven that, at least in that division, age doesn't mean as much as maybe we sometimes think it does. But can 39-year-old Mike McCallum really provide a serious challenge for Roy Jones at the peak of his talents?
Yeah, age doesn't have anything to do with anything at any time. If McCallum comes in this ring, McCallum comes into this ring and think of himself not as an opponent, but as this is the chance of a lifetime to prove that Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, they all dodge me and suck up and win this thing. He can do it. He can do it, but he's got to believe that he's not just an opponent.
One more piece of business before we get to the boxing match. As we told you, it climaxes a head-to-head battle between the governing body, whose interim title is at stake, and the State Athletic Commission, which apparently believes that its own identity is at stake. It starts with the WBC.
We have a rule that states very clearly that the judges must be from neutral, either cities or states or nations, than the boxers contending for the title. In this case, we have a boxer from Florida, and we have a boxer from Jamaica and Nevada. So no judges can be allowed, according to the rules, from Florida, Nevada, or Jamaica.
Basically, their request would have deviated from the position of this commission for the last 8 years, which was to provide 2 judges from the WBC and 1 judge from the state of Florida and 1 referee from the state of Florida. That's been the custom for the past 8 years, according to my commission staff.
In actuality, the Florida Commission went 2 steps further, assigning 3 of its own judges. The World Boxing Council retaliated with 3 of its own. So tonight, Roy Jones and Mike McCallum meet before 2 separate sets of judges, which could conceivably leave the outcome of the fight in dispute.
It provides an interesting question in the sense that the reason Mr. Suleiman, who represents the WBC, pretty much insisted on having his 3 judges was because he felt like they would be impartial judges. And that question presented a problem for us in Florida because it sort of intimated that our judges could not meet that standard. Our judges not only can meet that standard, but we think they will surpass that standard.
How can we have 3 judges from Florida, the referee from Florida, and 1 boxer from Florida? That is not acceptable by all of these rules.
The 2 battling governing bodies have focused on their own agendas. But how does this affect the fighters? Mike McCallum points out that his opponent, Roy Jones Jr., is a native Floridian.
A guy from the same place, you kind of feel that tend to want to give a guy who's here from around here the nod. If it's a close fight, or if it comes down to giving one of the guys a nod naturally, they're human beings. They probably tend to give him the nod over me. So I feel more comfortable with guys in different places, definitely.
Given his standing in the sport, no one has a greater stake in the fight's integrity than Roy Jones himself.
That's hard to say because, I care which one's going to go on the record. So I need to call the record people and ask them, which one of y'all going to put on my record? Who decides
If a decision is announced in the ring, it will be that of the Florida Commission's judges. But a title belt can be awarded only according to the decision of the WBC judges. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief if the nightmare of two conflicting decisions is avoided. And the most favorable upshot of all this is the second ever on-camera appearance for our own in-house judge, Harold Letterman. Harold, should they be embarrassed, and are you embarrassed for them?
Jim, absolutely. As a person who's given his entire life to judging boxing, I think this thing has turned into a circus. I mean, we have 3 Florida judges at ringside where they belong. We have 3 WBC judges scrambling around somewhere in the press row to try and get an unobstructed view of the fight. We're saying that the winner of this fight is going to be from Florida, and the WBC is awarding the belt to, based on a decision of the 3 WBC judges somewhere out in the press row. It's an awful circus here. And I'll tell you something else. Why should the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, Roy Jones Jr., have to walk in the ring with a perception of having an advantage because he comes from Florida and the 4 officials come from Florida? I think it's an awful situation. I think it's something that should never have happened. We tried awfully hard to prevent it. We couldn't. We're stuck with it.
The Dick Vitale of boxing, a cult hero waiting to explode, our own Harold Letterman. Thank you very much, Harold. Let's take a look now at the tail of the tape for Roy Jones Jr. and Mike McCallum. And as you can see, there's a 12-year age difference. McCallum a half-inch taller and has 4 inches in reach advantage, which will mean nothing in this bout because his job is to get inside of Roy Jones's speed and power. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Here's what Jones did against James Toney 2 years ago when he won the 168-pound title. This was an average round for him. And, of course, Jones doesn't throw a lot of jabs, throws mostly power punches. Now let's take a look at some McCallum numbers. When he fought Toney 5 years ago, you saw that he was throwing 73 punches around. When he lost the light heavyweight championship to Tioza, the Frenchman, just a year and a half ago, his numbers were already coming down.
Rules of the bout with himself, Harold.
The Roy Jones Jr. Mike McCallum fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing gate count, no 3 knockdown rule in this fight. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you can be saved by the belt in a 12th and final round only. Jim.
I told you McCallum was a reggae man. Here he comes. 17 previous championship fights. This man was one of the great technicians of the 1980s. But he says, and with most observers say total justification, that he was unwarrantedly dodged at the height of his career by Tommy Hearns, by Ray Leonard, and by Marvin Hagler. Is he right, Larry?
I think that basically he's right. He did not have the box office appeal of any of them because of his style as a fighter and because he's a foreigner. And so they were able to dance around him. But in a way, he's having a last laugh because he's one of those strong-minded, independent West Indians who has saved most of his money. He has a home in Brooklyn, another one in Las Vegas, and a lot of real estate, I'm told, in Jamaica. So he's just adding to the pot. He's almost 40 years old. If he loses tonight, he can slide right into the seniors division and chase all those guys all over again.
George, he's really only had 1 fight in the last 17 months. Is that a problem at this stage?
I think probably it's best for him. As you get older, you want to have a little punching power to go because these guys underestimate you. You don't need to be worn and torn on too much. Save it for the real stuff. I think he may have saved the best for last, maybe.
Mike McCallum. 49 wins in his career. 2 of the 3 losses were in Europe. The fighters who were based in Europe, Sumbu Kalambe and Fabrice Tiozzo. The other loss was to James Toney at the height of Toney's career. He's been in it with a lot of good fighters. He was known in the middle 80s as the body snatcher because of his incomparable commitment to body punching and his skilled technique. Comes the Generation Gap music contrast.
To take a title, like heavyweight. I'm not the #1 challenger. I got a belt in 2 ways.
Nothing but mutual respect between the two opponents this week. They smiled and laughed with each other at the weigh-in yesterday, as they have done at news conferences and publicizing the fight. Roy Jones has a ton of respect for Mike McCallum.
This is a significant fight for Roy Jones because he is catapulting himself into the light heavyweight division, and we will be seeing him move up to see if he can get challenged at the heavier weight.
Well, so far in his career, 33 wins, no losses. Maybe the most memorable win, an easy decision, November 18, 1994, over the previously unbeaten James Toney. Since then, it's been a series of easy knockouts. The only exception, he went all 12 rounds with Eric Lucas this past June, on the day on which he played a professional basketball game for the USBA team in Jacksonville on the same day. Now let's go up to ring announcer Mark Piro with the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yared Productions and Square Ring Incorporated, in association with HBO Sports and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers, presents from the Ice Palace in Tampa, Florida, my hometown, main event, Fire on Ice, 12 rounds for the vacant WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Ring officials assigned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Juan Sanchez. Your judges at ringside are, from Miami, Florida, Rick Bays, also from Miami, Paul Herman, and from Tallahassee, Florida, Jay Cassis. Your third man in the ring, referee from Tampa, Florida, Brian Gary.
And we told you about the other three judges, the ones who will score the bout for the WBC, Marty Denkin, Tommy Kazmarek, and Barbara Perez, sitting not at ringside, but rather in the front row and craning their necks to get a good view.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing now the principals. First, in the red corner to my left, wearing the red trunks, black trim, weighing 173 pounds. He is undefeated in 33 professional bouts, 29 wins by way of knockout. He hails from Pensacola, Florida, and is ranked by the Bible of Boxing Ring Magazine as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Jones Jr. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the powder blue trunks, white trim, weighing 175 pounds. His professional record, 49 victories, 3 defeats, 1 draw. He has 36 wins by way of knockout. He hails from Kingston, Jamaica, but now makes his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Former WBA Junior Middleweight Champion of the world, former WBA Middleweight Champion of the world, former WBC Light Heavyweight Champion of the world, Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum. 12 rounds for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Come on, Mike. Go, Roy. Come on out, Roy. Come on, Mike. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
right, gentlemen, I'll be the third man in the ring with you this evening in charge of this WBC World Championship bout at all times. I want you to obey my command to break. If you score a knockdown, go to the neutral corner. Do not come out till I signal. Protect yourself at all times. Don't use your head as a weapon. No rabbit punches or low blows. Shake hands. Come out boxing at the bell.
Jim, a boxing man once said about mismatches, the whole world is a mismatch. Roy Jones has certainly made most of his fights mismatches. Can he do it to a crafty veteran like McCallum?
And we told you about the microphone, which has been sewn into George's trunks, or I mean, into Roy's trunks. You've had one in your trunks for a long time, right, George? So at some point in this first round, we'll open up the Roy Jones microphone that's in his trunks and see what we hear.
Now, Roy Jones' strategy should be go out there and do what you can do and do it quick. Move up a few more pounds and you can be heavyweight champ of the world. Don't take a long time doing to make people doubt.
You mean light heavyweight champion of the world?
No, he can move up a few pounds. Every guy want to be heavyweight champ of the world.
I have to go up about 30 or 40 pounds.
That's what he's trying to do. Now, McCallum should jab this guy to the body, stay to the body, and make him pay for those extra pounds that he's put on.
Yeah, coming up from 168 to 175, so McCallum will want to make him feel it early.
Yes, jab him to the body. Every chance you get, touch his body.
Roy Jones expected by those around him to be cautious in the first few rounds because of his great respect for McCallum's savvy and his ring skills and his counterpunching ability. On the other hand, they say if McCallum makes a mistake, Roy will show no mercy.
Roy Jones, when his back touches those ropes, he starts doing anything he can, so you got to be careful. Do what you're going to do it to him in the middle of the ring. Don't go following him on those ropes.
Jones keeping his eyes trained to the middle of McCallum's chest and throwing a left to the lower body. Near the belt line, he landed a right hand over the top about 20 seconds ago. And let's take a listen to the Roy Jones mic. It's in his trunks. Gives you graphic audio on the body shots.
Now you can hear that punch to the body. McCallum landed a good left jab. And remember, it doesn't look like much in the first couple of rounds, but if he can continue to do this, it'll pay off.
He can slow Roy's pace and get him into a more deliberate engagement if he keeps landing to the body. That's what he's been doing to opponents throughout his long career.
McCallum has to be careful, though. When you jab down, you got to bring that left hand back up quick.
This is the most conventional 3 minutes of work we've seen out of Roy Jones in a long time. Mostly working off the jab in a very orthodox fashion, throwing straight left jabs and right hands. We haven't seen any of those triple and quadruple left hooks, which have defined his work against lesser opponents.
Roy Jones loses very few rounds. That was one of them.
Right hand to the body. Look at, but check this out though. When you shoot your jab, you're doing this, Roy. You can get your hook in off of it. When you shoot, okay, keep your right hand high. Keep your right hand high. But I'm telling you, even when you try to jab to the body, he'll reach down and try to get it. Okay, with his right. Okay, he'll try to reach down and get it. You can get your hook in off of it. Just keep working your jab and keep touching that body. That's good. Let's keep that strategy going. All right.
Once on a wali chini. Jab, jab, once on a wali chini. Breathe deep.
Beautiful, man.
Breathe deep. To the right. Mouthpiece. Stay there.
I don't know if Roy was paying homage to a great old pro in that first round, but it's time for him to make this a fight in the present and not from the past.
Maybe he's not all that comfortable working in such a conventional fashion. By punch stat numbers, George Foreman, he threw 15 jabs in the first round and only landed one of them. He's short with the jab so far. And McCallum is stepping in and committing more to the jab when he throws it.
That's right, but at the same time, Roy Jones' cone is picked up on McCallum, leaving that left hand down when he jabs. And this boy can make you pay. Roy Jones can make you pay for dropping your hand.
As he just did there with a counter right over the top of McCallum's jab. And now Roy begins to step in just a little bit more aggressively as the battery pack for his microphone creeps up out of the back of his shorts.
Good right hand to the body by Roy Jones.
Now he starts to lead with the left hook, as he's done more frequently in the past couple of years. And McCallum going to the body. Got in 2 good shots. Straight right landed for Jones. But Jones kind of reaching with these shots, not really stepping in behind them.
That left hand of McCallum is long as all outdoors, and he just lays it there in the stomach. And if he keeps it up and don't be lazy with it, he can do a lot of damage in the next couple of rounds.
Certainly McCallum is following his fight plan. Roy Jones lands a right cross. McCallum takes it pretty well.
Now McCallum is throwing that left jab to the chest of Roy Jones.
We've got the Jones mic open. That's why you're hearing these body shots so graphically. Landed a little left hook in there. Right hand missed, but the left landed flush on McCallum's chin. McCallum goes back to the body to good effect.
My first comment is I don't think that the sound that comes from that battery pack is any great advancement for humankind. And they ought to cut it off, and I think they are.
You got him hanging out there with his punches now. Give him some of them long, he's too slow. Give him some of them long shots that he wants. Them long right hands to the body, let him bring his hands to you. Give me some 3- and 4-point combinations now. He's too slow for you, Ron.
I don't even call between, bro.
You ain't. I'm talking about when you go into your body with long stuff. Take the head. Take the head. Try to hit him with 2 and 3. When he's straighten up, then go to the body. Come back out. Okay? Give me some water. That's cool, son. Yeah. He respecting you already. He ain't gonna keep stalking like that. Just keep touching his body. We got it. We got it.
Okay, good. Let's do it, doctor.
All right. It's the game, Frank. Number 3, Roy. Thank you. You go. Mike, number 3.
Goodbye, battery pack.
Goodbye, trunk mic. Oh no, it's still there, Larry. Still got the battery pack, yep. Stuffed it down a little farther into the trunk. So we'll still hear some more. Do you think Jones is more effective when he dispenses with the jab and just leads with left hooks?
Well, he's effective now mentally because, like the old story of Samson waking up with his hair off, he's landing some good shots with no effect because this guy's heavier than he is only.
Trading punches in the corner. McCallum giving just as good as he takes. 27-year-old Roy Jones getting a little bit of a lesson early from 39-year-old Mike McCallum.
What happened happens after those exchanges is McCallum leans on this guy. And let me tell you, about fight time, he weighs about 200 pounds. A lot of water and a lot of steak juice there.
McCallum working almost exclusively to the body most of the time. When he gets in close, he might take a poke at Jones's head, but most of the time, he is working from the chest down, like there. Jones using his piston-like combination inside, and McCallum coming right back.
Now, this probably could be some of the mistakes that McCallum is doing now. You save your energy and don't waste any punches because you got a long night ahead of you.
McCallum willing to be the aggressor. Jones drawing him in. McCallum taking advantage of the chance to fire body shots.
McCallum should be very conservative, win every round, don't look for a knockout. Boy, that was a right hand to the body by McCallum.
The screen, I got him here. Come on out.
Good left hook inside by Jones. Uppercut, then left hook. And McCallum pounding the ribcage in close.
And most importantly, remember, after he delivers those shots, he leans all of that body weight on Jones.
Sounds like something you've done yourself.
And had it done to me.
Pattern of the fight so far. Roy Jones lands upstairs like McCallum lands downstairs.
The jab is the winning punch, Junior. You're not jabbing. You too static in front of him. You too static in front of him. Like you went over there, you went just a little, no, ping, ping, right to it, anywhere, okay? Right, man. I got it. More work on it. Catch me with a hook. Come back down to the body. Run across. Spin on out. When he turns, he's sitting there waiting on him. Oh, you're on hook one. Okay. You're going to be out of the way of it. You're going to roll out of it. All right.
Now the microphone is gone. Nope. They're going to put it back on him. I think. I couldn't tell whether Coach Murkerson got it back in there or not.
You know, all of the whirling dervish of Roy Jones, all of the rat-a-tat-tat, that sensational stuff, completely neutralized by a great old pro, regardless of what happens in this fight.
Well, let history state that Trunk Mike lasted 3 rounds. Hard right hand over the top by Jones. Jones looking for more and more creative solutions against Mike McCallum.
Yeah, Roy Jones has got to step up the beat a little bit to take away some of the confidence, make McCallum an opponent. You just can't let him think he's in here to win. Make him think like an opponent by hitting him with a lot of headshots.
And I thought I heard McCallum's cornerman suggesting to him that he was showing Jones too much respect. Both fighters have good reason to show respect. Something here, and he makes the same feint twice and gets you to miss the same punch twice. He's thinking of what comes next.
Yeah, but
there it was, straight right hand counter. And another.
This reminds me, or could remind all of us, of the night when people thought Sugar Ray Robinson was going to pull a rabbit out of a hat when he went up against a fine light heavyweight champion.
Joey Maxim.
Willie Maxim. Joey Maxim. Round after round, people kept thinking Ray is going to do something. Nothing ever happened.
So the big contrast you see here is veteran light heavyweight against a guy moving up to his weight class, huh?
So you got to know what you're doing when you face a big man. You got to win. Stop trying to knock him out. Make him think too.
McCallum spent much of his career at 154, eventually moved to 160, later fought at 168. 175 is a function for him of getting older and a little bit more settled in his body type.
What we can say for sure is that McCallum is posing some questions and some answers to Roy Jones that he hasn't been able to deal with here. I mean, this is amazing. I think that McCallum is winning the fight.
Good. You won the round. You see? All
right, Harold, give us your score.
Larry, I don't think McCallum's winning the fight. I got Roy Jones 3-1, 39-37. I think Roy Jones for the first 3 rounds was landing a sharp at crisp punches. In the first round, McCallum landed more, but there was absolutely nothing behind it. And I mean nothing. He just touched him, and that was all. Where Roy hit him in the first 3 rounds, he whacked him. But in the 4th round, Roy Jones didn't do a darn thing, but lay back on the ropes, and McCallum certainly outchamped him.
I have the score by rounds. 2 rounds for McCallum, 1 round for Jones, and 1 even.
That's about the way I see it, too.
Yeah. Well,
Roy looks ineffectual to me up to now.
I can tell you, fellas, because I'm getting to see the scores of the WBC judges, and all 3 WBC judges agree with Harold. They all have Roy Jones winning the fight to this point.
We may have a great controversy by the end of this night.
I thought we already did.
Only if it goes to a decision. Can you imagine a controversial ending in boxing?
I tried. McCallum's going to the body again.
After every combination, whoa, a good right hand by Jones.
And a left hand, and McCallum is suddenly stopped in his tracks as Jones brings his punching power and speed to bear. And McCallum delivers just a little low, and Roy does a dance for McCallum's benefit. I think they like each other, incidentally. Is it hard to fight a guy that you really like, George?
Well, not really. It's all a game anyway. Now, McCallum is turning into an opponent. Whenever Roy Jones lands those power punches, he makes McCallum think he is an opponent. You got to keep it up.
Go into the body, giving McCallum a little of his own medicine. And I think that's the best way for Roy to change this up, George, to go downstairs.
And he can win these rounds. You're not going to get a knockout that easy. You're going to have to earn it.
He might have to satisfy himself with a decision tonight. It sure would be a good idea to take some starts out of McCallum. And of course, low blows will do it for you if you're allowed to get away with it.
I thought that was a good left hook.
Mike McCallum, 16 years as a pro, has never been stopped.
Good right hand by McCallum. It was a tip, but it was good.
This time McCallum taking advantage of a clean opening to go to the body with the right hand. Roy Jones sneaks in a right. McCallum able to handle Jones's punching power so far.
Because of the extra weight. Jones has got to concentrate on the body a little bit to make those punches count.
That time McCallum's right hand over the top, partially blocked. Jones taking advantage of the opportunities to counter, but not going to the body. And there he did with the right hand and got in a perfect left hook as a result. Great combination by Jones there.
His combinations are starting to pick up a bit. He's starting to get his range as the rounds go by.
When he mixes in the body punches, he gets opportunities upstairs.
That right hand, left-right combination, that hurt McCallum.
Yep. Best punch of the fight. Best round of the fight for Jones.
When he starts getting away from your right hand, when he get away from your right hand, come back with the jab after the game. 2-1-2 or 1-2-1, okay? Get back to him. You getting to him now. You done start touching. Hey, this how you got here. Let's have fun out here. You're in the 6th round, okay? You're in the 6th round. Put some Vaseline on his back, too. That's good. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, let's have fun. Hit and don't get hit, okay? Yes, sir. Hit and don't get hit. Give it. Let's land 2 and 3 and go. 2 and 3.
You got to keep working the jab. You got to keep working the jab and don't get careless. You cover very nice. His left hook with the right hand. Next time go under and come out with the right hand.
There we go.
Hit it.
Let's go. That's the key, Mikey. Go. Number 6. Michael, number 6. McCallum could have allowed this fight to get away from him by not establishing a superior reach and keeping those combinations from Jones at a minimum. He's allowed this guy to wake up, man. It's hard to put a sleeping giant back to sleep.
It's hard to sustain dominance for 12 consecutive rounds against a guy who clearly has more athletic gifts at this moment in his career.
Now, Roy Jones is doing a lot of movement, and he's thinking combination as when he stands flat-footed.
McCallum pounding to the body with the right hand. Jones with a quick little left hook in there. Once again in this round, Roy has not been going downstairs and consequently hasn't gotten much chance to fire combinations. Backs McCallum up with a straight right to the chest.
Now he has McCallum thinking about throwing that right hand. And once you start thinking, you're in trouble. You got to just do it.
Jones just a tiny bit short with that right cross. And he's finding the range with power punches. He landed 25 out of 36 of them in the last round.
When you're fighting a boxer like Roy Jones Jr., the most devastating thing you can do to him is out-jab him, especially jabs to the head. That's what you do. You take that jab away from him by out-jabbing.
But the thing about Roy, George, is that he really doesn't throw the jab that often. He has his own unorthodox style. He throws more power punches than jabs, and that's precisely why I think McCallum is exposing him a bit here. He doesn't have to worry too much about the jab.
Jones started out throwing jabs and fighting from an orthodox stance with an orthodox style in the first 2 rounds, and since then has reverted to form, leading as often as not with the left hook or a straight right over the top.
Fast of feet boxers and hand, they just hate to be hit with left jab.
And McCallum is sticking it.
Yeah, you hit them in the body, they don't mind. You hit them with a good right hand every now and then, but don't jab me. That's what's happening to Roy Jones tonight.
Jones punctuates the round with a left hook and a right cross. Maybe enough to persuade the judges to think of him one more time as they mark their scores.
Way to work. Take deep breath. I got you. Yeah. All right. Mix your power up a little bit. Yes, sir. Mix your power up. Okay. Touch him light, touch him strong, light, strong. Just keep mixing it up. Keep mixing up. When you go with them 3-point combinations, don't go to the head all the time. Come down, change up, then back up. Okay? Change them combinations up. Bridget, come on. Beautiful. Bridget, Michael, Bridget.
You're shocking the world, baby. Keep it up.
Bridget, come on.
Let's go.
Big one.
Get more aggressive, Michael.
Ain't the judge's excuse for you to win the fight. Give it to the judges. They give it to the burners in, baby.
Number 7, halfway home now.
Boy, number 7. Right about now, I'm starting to think of, well, what would Roy Jones look like against Leonard and Hagler and Hearns if he's having this much trouble looking good against a nearly 40-year-old McCallum? I think that's a legitimate question that may be asked after this fight is over.
Well, particularly since McCallum said yesterday, widely quoted around the world, Roy Jones is better than all those guys. He's twice as good as they were.
Well, it doesn't cost him anything to say that.
Particularly not the way he's holding his own tonight. Jones finding his own punch output limited as McCallum goes to the body. Jones stuns McCallum momentarily with a left hook. Roy smiling in there now as he gets ready to go back to work. Power punch combination starting to land more frequently again for Roy Jones. Fought cautiously through the first few rounds and now lands a right hand straight off the top. Body punch.
Roy Jones is moving exclusively to McCallum's left now. And McCallum cannot position his feet enough to protect himself. Roy Jones caught on to it, and he's going to exploit this guy.
He can neutralize McCallum's jab by moving to his right.
Yeah, McCallum just doesn't seem to have the proper movement. Only when Jones moves to his right can he even jab effectively.
Seeming to try to decoy McCallum now and attempting to get the crowd a little bit more involved. He does some of his own cheerleading in the ring. Oh, that's quick.
And it was a pop shot.
Solid left hook in there. McCallum's taking these punches pretty well, but Roy Jones is having a spectacular round 7.
What happened was McCallum was able to counter on top of that right hand with his own stretch to the side of the head of Jones. That temporarily made him inactive, so he should exploit it.
McCallum going back to the body as he corners Jones. Roy coming out with one of those whirlwind combos.
McCallum would do better if he not even think of a knockout. Just go out there and try to win the fight. Whenever he even thinks power, Roy Jones hits him 3 or 4 times.
Round 7, a long and rough passage for Mike McCallum. Jones starting to assert himself. We told you about the WBC judges seated in odd places for them as they try to score the fight. There's Barbara Perez. She is seated in the first press row. And as you can see, it's a pretty good distance from what would normally be a ringside perch for a judge. 3 judges from Florida scoring the bout. Here's another WBC judge, Marty Denkin. And he too is at some distance from the ring as he tries to eyeball the action and score it.
Let's see, Jones is in the corner trying to get McCallum to open up. He does. Shoots that left hand. Obviously the younger, quicker, stronger athlete. But if there was a handicap for age, Mike McCallum would be at least even in this fight.
And we'll check in with Harold Letterman in a little while, but in the meantime, I can tell you that through 7 rounds, the 3 WBC judges all have Jones leading by reasonably comfortable margins, and as you can see, Harold Letterman is right there in the same ballpark with them. Either of you two guys still think that McCallum's winning the fight?
No, I don't think so. I think Jones has asserted himself in the last 3 rounds.
You agree, George?
Yeah, McCallum, he let the fight slip away. He had a chance to establish that the reach and everything. Now he's going to have to get himself a knockout.
because Jones found an adjustment that works for him.
He's moving, and whenever he wants, he moves to McCallum's left, and he just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Roy Jones, when he moves to his right, McCallum's left, in this direction, is able to keep McCallum from landing the jab and sets up combinations for himself. And left hook leads, and right cross leads, and footwork of the kind that you're seeing here.
I think future opponents of Jones are going to be looking at this tape to see how to try to neutralize him, how to keep him from being the whirlwind that we have been celebrating.
I got you, gentlemen.
McCallum doesn't have any power if he throws when Jones is on his left side. Has no power at all, but Jones seemed to pick up rhythm, which is the southpaw.
Only momentarily. He's done it a lot in some of his previous bouts. Hadn't done it any substantial length of time here.
But Jones has found himself an ice cream parlor when he moves to the left of McCallum.
Sure has.
Nothing but sweet stuff happens over there.
Not sure why he likes to go into the corner and position himself there, although he does have a history of coming out of the corner with lightning combinations. But this gives McCallum a chance to be effective. I mean, he's stationary here, George.
Yeah, McCallum is having difficulty. Whenever he thinks of power, he just can't do it that way. You got to think combinations, and there's no defense for combinations. There's only some defense when you're thinking about throwing one hard punch.
McCallum able to land against a relatively stationary Jones. Crowd seems disappointed that Roy allows this kind of stuff to go on. Give credit to the fighter that McCallum is, as he takes a hard left and right hand from Jones.
That was a good round, young man. Way to win. Way to win. Put that fan out there. There you go.
All right, Harold, we're two-thirds of the way through this fight. How do you score it?
Larry, I got it 79-73, 7 rounds to 1, Roy Jones. I tell you something, he's making this tough by laying on the ropes. I think I think he could do a lot better if he took him into the middle of the ring. I mean, Roy Jones, when he slaps him with a left hook, and then he steps to the side, and he throws that straight right hand, or he leads with the straight right, steps to the left, and then throws the double left hook. He's killing McCallum. So I don't know why he's laying on the ropes, but be as it may, he certainly is landing enough power shots to be winning mostly every round.
I thought laying on the ropes cost him that round, but I'm probably in a minority of one. Here you see it.
How we doing, guys?
All right, Jones trying to fight out of the corner, but not being very effective against a veteran of this caliber.
Number 9, Mike.
I think you lay on the ropes for 45 seconds and let the other guy punch you and you don't punch him back. I don't know how that does you any good in the scoring.
Round 9. A restive crowd in Tampa, looking for the Florida favorite son to produce some of his customary fireworks, and he has at moments during the fight. They have not had the same effect on Mike McCallum that they do on most of Roy Jones's opponents.
McCallum, whenever he decides to put a 4-punch combination together, he will see some good results. But waiting to hit Roy Jones with one shot is not going to help him.
McCallum able to get to the body with the right hand, pause with the left. Jones once again goes back into the corner. Jones excites the crowd with a few power shots and then moves back into a cautious defensive pose. Showing a lot of respect to 39-year-old Mike McCallum. Now Jones remembers to go to the body inside. Something he was neglecting to do early in the fight.
Now McCallum, if he want to prove that he can do something, he's going to have to throw combinations now. At the age 39, he's got to think, hey, I better pull this thing out. There's no second chance for me. sure this guy's hitting me, but I used to spar with my trainer, Charlie Shacks. He'd do the same stuff to me. I missed him with one shot, he'd hit me with 5. But you got to use combinations back. Here it is, before you can work. McCallum is doing good, but he's only landed one punch at a time.
Tactical boxing match.
Get off his head now. Your hands are free. Let's work.
Certainly the kind of fight that Mike McCallum might have wanted to get Roy Jones into. Is he doing enough? George Foreman says not quite.
No, he's allowing this guy to get nothing but combination after combination off. When you're in there with those younger opponents, you got to be the one throwing the combination.
Jones feinting, throwing a right hand lead, temporarily stunning McCallum. McCallum shows his chin, comes back with some other good stuff inside. Jones pauses to clear his mouth, and we're 3/4 of the way through to the scheduled 12 rounds.
Champ, you go round. You're going in 10, baby. You're going in 10. Way to work. Way to get that quick stuff off. That's good. I got you. I got you. There you go. Okay. There you go.
Only got a 3 rounds, an amateur fight. You way over the amateur fight. You way over. These 3 rounds you have to, give everything, Michael. This is all. This is it. Keep your chin down, hands up, and jab, jab, jab. Right hand to the body. You see those 2 right hands, but don't reach. Just try and straight. Eh?
Yeah. Beautiful work, Mike.
Let's see Jones from the corner. Landed a good right hand inside there. And again.
All right, Roy, number 10 coming up, baby. Number 10. Number 10, Michael.
One of the things that's clear from this fight is that Jones isn't that comfortable when they're in the center of the ring. He's having a hard time working McCallum from the center of the ring, creating openings, stepping in, because Roy is so quick, he looks to punch and jump out before he can follow up.
Yeah, the fight seems to always end up with Jones close to the rope.
Very interesting, guys. 2 of the 3 WBC judges who seemed early on to be giving the close rounds to Jones gave the 9th round to McCallum, a round in which Jones was dominant in punch stat numbers. Landed twice as many punches as McCallum, and yet in that round, 2 of the WBC judges say, well, let's give it to the guy in the light blue trunks.
Well, to be perfectly honest, if Roy is winning the fight, but from the appearance of the fight, it's not like he's winning the fight 11-1. He's not pitching a shutout. Some of these rounds that he's getting are close rounds because he's laying on the ropes, and McCallum is doing very well against him in the middle of the ring.
McCallum is, if he's going to win this thing, he's going to have to gamble a little bit. You just can't stand out there for the chance of your lifetime. You're going to have to take a chance on getting punched, but get in there and land that right hand.
Incidentally, in case you're wondering, we're seeing the WBC judges' scores round by round. We are not seeing the Florida judges' scores round by round. Those we won't know until the end of the fight if it goes the distance.
Oh, really? Well, usually Roy is the judge, the jury,
the executioner.
The executioner, the attorneys, everything.
McCallum seems to have no power when he throws the overhand right. Can't do anything with it.
Well, George, McCallum was never a big puncher. Even in his heyday, he was a hurting puncher. He beats you down, but he was never a paralyzing puncher.
I think his punches have more snap when he goes to the body. He's just a lot more comfortable throwing body punches.
He throws that thing over, and it's like he doesn't even have a right hand. Only when he goes underneath. And Roy Jones is not bending over much to make that effective for him. Let me have you fellas come on. Let's make now. Let's work. Let's work.
Brian Gary has been largely unobtrusive here. That's a good job.
That right hand almost stopped McCallum in his track.
Yeah, get the impression that Roy would have to accumulate a lot of punishment to get McCallum out of there. McCallum seems just, whoa, just as I said that, Roy says, wait a minute.
The bell has rung and the referee doesn't
Gary
even
doesn't
know it.
Yeah.
You got the count. Here.
Okay, now he knows. So the first knockdown of the bout comes right at the end of the 10th round. Quick right hand over the top by Jones.
All right.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, Nick? Yeah.
Here's the punch at the end of the round. McCallum looked like he was already heading back to the corner, anticipating the bell, but it was a clean punch that sat him down on his pants. I don't think it hurt him very much. The old warrior hanging in there.
Get two away. Get the water.
Well, that was one of those close rounds that could have gone McCallum's way, but the knockdown seals it for Jones.
Exactly.
And all three WBC judges scored it a 10-8 round. So now, unquestionably, at least for the WBC's interim light heavyweight title purposes, McCallum would need a knockout to win.
I got time.
And there you see Harold Letterman's card, where the same situation obtains. And now referee Brian Gary wants the moisture wiped up out of McCallum's corner.
All right, let's go.
Rest benefit any fighter more than the other at this point, George?
Yeah, no doubt about it. McCallum got a chance to clear his head just a little bit more. If only just to last this round.
Jones still safety first, blocking McCallum's punches with his gloves as he backs up and tries to set himself to fire a combination. McCallum still going to the body.
McCallum needs a knockout now. You can forget about that body and go for everything now. Boy, 39 just isn't what it used to be, huh?
No, Young is 47. 47 is Young. 39 is a little bit troublesome, but then you get that second win, don't you, George?
Jones landed a good right-hand shot.
I get the feeling Jones will continue to look for the opportunity to land power shots, but he just isn't going to risk much. Surely he feels that he's in control of the fight on the scorecards, and clearly he's going to be satisfied to pound out a decision.
Which I think would be a moral victory for McCallum at this stage of his career.
And an encouragement to the half dozen or so fighters who might be looking at a Roy Jones fight down the road.
Now something has to happen. 39 may become a lively number for the lighter weight fighters too, huh?
You were great at 39, George. You were tremendous at 39. Do you remember it?
It was yesterday, you know. I'm only 39 now.
Great right hand again bothers McCallum. Piston-like left for Jones. McCallum throws him into the ropes. I'm not impressed with your hand speed, young man.
He's telling them, don't go flow showing on me now.
Don't hold the ropes, Mike. Don't hold the ropes and punch him now. Come on. Time.
One round to go.
Keep it just like that, baby. Keep it just like that. Way to work. Way to work. Cool him down. Keep it just like that. my head, Schmidt. Just the back of my head.
Very close, Michael. Yeah, the knockdown got you up.
We need some tape over your guys like that, okay? Just like that. Hey, HBO. Just like that. Keep working. Y'all watch, I'm a bad man. All right. Probably can fight all day. There you go. Last one, baby. Last one. We one way away. One round away, baby. Who's the real champion? Okay?
All right, fellas. The final round.
There you see the leaping right and a staccato barrage of little left hands. I don't think any of them did any damage. Like almost like playing the piano on McCallum's ribs.
They do score. And speaking of scoring,
Harold, 11 rounds. Give it to us, Harold. Shoot it to us.
Larry, I hate to disappoint you. I got a 109.99, 10 rounds to 1, Roy Jones Jr. The only thing I can say is I'm buying this guy a map of New York State so he can find Canastota, where the Boxing Hall of Fame is, unless he hitches a ride with George Foreman.
The crowd right now apparently is more entertained by a fight going on out there in the bleachers someplace.
they're not watching as Mike McCallum launches what may be his last assault to the body, and Jones comes back with counter punches to the head. Pattern of the fight throughout. Valiant effort by 39-year-old Mike McCallum. Solid defensive and controlled boxing display by 27-year-old Roy Jones. Jones, we would guess, well ahead on the scorecards of the Florida judges, and we know well ahead on the scorecards of the WBC judges.
I tell you, if Mike McCallum had a good overhand right, this could have been a different fight tonight. Just has no power on top. Everything is under.
Yeah, because the opening was there for the overhand right.
He created a good opening by going to the body. He just did not have the finishing power.
Jones continually landing that right-hand lead now. Little of the old Ray Leonard bolo wind-up there. Some of the crowd now turning its attention back to the ring action, although apparently that fight in the bleachers is still going on. You can see the number of spectators who have their heads turned away from the ring.
Roy Jones is actually looking at the clock, trying to wait this fight out, wait for the last 10 seconds and throw a dynamic flurry.
I think he wants to let McCallum finish the fight.
I agree.
But I'm not sure he could have done anything about it if he wanted to finish the fight early.
And when the final bell sounds, you will see one of those mutual embraces drenched in mutual respect.
I don't think he wanted to let him finish it at all.
You think he wanted to knock him out?
He just had not enough power in the last round. Got him. You see he has. Why don't you finish? You see he wasn't waiting.
Yep. And there's the mutual embrace. Referee did a good job of stepping in there to protect McCallum as the bell sounded.
No, it wasn't a decision. What a decision.
Does this diminish your opinion of Roy Jones at all?
What's the distance? Roy Jones is probably the greatest middleweight around, but it's going to happen for him in the middleweight. Light heavyweight, he better stay away from that if he want to maintain his greatness.
Well, and if you can't be great at 175 in your assessment, then you can forget that heavyweight fantasy that everybody's talked about, right?
Well, you got to grow. It may take a lot of years to grow into that. It hasn't happened this year.
He's 27. You think he's still growing?
Yep, you grow.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Body gets more settled. You just think about thin you used to be, George.
I used to be thin.
When you were 11.
One more time. WBC light the belt. And you. Oh,
You know, Roy can do just about anything, but I'm not sure that ring announcer is within his reach.
And new.
He put the and new in the wrong place. That's what I'm thinking there. You know, he had the sequence a little out of sync.
You want bad jumping. You want bad jumping.
Well, we've been keeping you up to date in a general sense with the WBC judges scoring of the bout. And once again, there are 6 judges scoring, 3 from the WBC and 3 from Florida because of a head-to-head dispute between the 2 jurisdictional bodies here. So Denkin scores it for Jones, 116-111. Kazmarek scores it for Jones, 119-108. That means 11 rounds for Jones and 1 even. Well, with the 10-8 round, maybe 1 round for McCallum and 11 rounds for Jones. And then Barbara Perez with a 117-110 scorecard. And nobody is expecting, quite frankly, that the Florida judges will do something dramatically damaging to the Florida fighter's career, although, of course, they'll have scored the fight according to their own integrity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Paul Herman, Judge Jay Cassis, and Judge Rick Bays all score the bout 120-107 for the new WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Jones Jr.
That's a whitewash. That means that all 3 Florida judges scored all 12 rounds for Jones, with a 10-8 round accompanying the knockdown in round 10. Final punch stat numbers, and you can see that Roy landed 45 more punches. McCallum threw 116 more, thus the big difference in connect percentage. Jones landed considerably more than 50% of his power shots, and of course, a lot of those were leads. Lead left hooks, lead right hands. And the judges saw the fight more one-sidedly than did our own Larry Merchant. Larry stands by in the ring now with the winner.
Okay, Roy, congratulations. Why did you seem to be having problems with McCallum during this fight, or do you feel it was an easy fight for you?
First of all, I thank God for the opportunity, for giving me the opportunity to come out here and doing all that I do. It was a terrific thing I had. I'm glad to turn out a great night. I'd like to congratulate this man. He inspired me tonight. He did a terrific job. I had faith in him. Guerrero's a great champion, but he still got to come with a long way to go. Mike McCallum was not really hard for me. Mike is a technician, and it's like, why go out and take a crazy chance with a guy that I can outspeed and outbox, you know what I'm saying? I want to learn. I want to see the different shots coming at me. I haven't had a chance to be in the ring with someone as talented and skill-wise as Mike McCallum.
What did he show you that some of your recent opponents didn't show you?
He showed movement. He showed pressure. He had a great jab. You know, I could have blocked the jab more. I could have countered the jab more, but you know, I came into the fight with a bruised right hand, knew it coming in, so I wasn't going to come in and kill myself. Plus, I have a lot of respect for Mike McCallum. I could have faked him and hit him with the right hand all night long. I dropped him with it. I really didn't mean to drop. I just tried to throw it quick before he wouldn't counter me. He throws one punch that I throw a lot, which is a check hook. When a man comes at you, he throws the hook. I wasn't going to go in and get hit with the hook on purpose when I know he's going to throw it.
How would you have done against the Mike McCallum of 10 or 12 years ago?
I would have picked up the pace. I would have been adding more. I would have forced the issue at him because in his day, he didn't like, I mean, he was good, but the way to beat him was pressure him. Don't let him come to you. But tonight, you know, he was the man. I'm the man now.
Are you comfortable at light heavyweight and looking forward to fighting some of the other light heavyweights out there?
No, I'm not really comfortable at it. I'm a little small for light heavyweight, but I'm looking forward to fighting him. I'll fight anybody. I don't care. Virgil Hill said some stuff today in the paper talking about only people I fought was James Toney and Mike McCallum. Well, who has he fought? Tommy Hearns, and he lost that. So, you know, if you go ahead and take care of your business, Virgil, when you come back, we can get it on. I'll be waiting. Just call my house.